Right. Okay. So last week we discussed the first half of chapter 21. Okay, let's go through that. Yeah. So it's a story. I think, yeah, you can go ahead. Tell me the story. Verse 1. What did we draw?
Peter went for fishing at the
Mhm.
and the other disciples too went with them.
Yeah.
But throughout the night they fished, but still they didn't get any fish.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Second verse. Somebody else.
The was that after fishing all night, they came near the shore. That time Jesus was standing there. But the disciples can't realize that it was.
Yeah, it was Jesus, right. Okay. Right. And the next verse. Who wants to say? Mika, you want to try? Okay, Avia.
Here Jesus, when they came a little closer to the shore, then Jesus asked them, did you get any fish?
Okay. And they answered no. Yeah, I think we didn't draw that part. Okay, they said no. Okay, next verse, maybe I'll go. So yeah, so then Jesus said, put your net on the right side. Maybe they were fishing on the left side. Okay, so maybe Jesus said, do it on the other side. I have all the fish collected there. And then they did, and they caught lots of fishes. Right, okay, that's what happened. Then, yep, somebody else. Next verse. So what happened to Peter? Okay, Peter recognized Jesus now. Okay, so, and then he jumped into water because he didn't have his outer garment. Yeah, and then they called other disciples, and probably they had 2 boats, and they dragged all the fish back to the shore. Okay, after this, we are skipping a bit. And so after this, Jesus offers them food. Jesus offers them fish and bread, and they eat nicely. Nobody talks much, I think. Nobody dared to ask, who are you? Because they know that it's Jesus and all that. So they had the meal, and then Jesus has a short conversation with Peter. Maybe they spoke after this, but only a little bit is recorded. This conversation is recorded. Okay, so let's read this. Okay. Today is 26. Right, so I'll go ahead and read. Verse 15. When they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? More than these is what? Is it the food or something else? What do you think?
More than the other disciples.
More than these, right? So these are things. Otherwise, Jesus should have referred to them. So more than these, so some things. So, okay. So, which things?
Food.
Food. Okay. Possible. Yeah. But I think Jesus might be referring to something else. What?
Some cloth on the table or something like that.
The fishing things.
Fishing, I think. Yeah. Old habits. Huh?
But why will he refer to fishing as these?
Yeah. So more than these, meaning probably what Peter was doing when Jesus caught him. So I don't think here Jesus was referring to
Or
food.
maybe some, yes,
Maybe something
something precious.
something precious. Yeah. So when Jesus disappeared, Peter decided to do something that he loves. What's that? Fishing. So yeah, when Jesus is not looking at us, no, Jesus is always looking at us, but we think sometimes that maybe nobody's looking at us, then what do? We do something that is close to our heart, right? Something that we always wanted to do. Is that correct? Yes. Did anyone experience that? When nobody's disturbing or nobody's seeing, nobody is at home, you will always do what you love to do. Right? Is that right? No, it's not right. That's true for me.
Right.
Okay. So Peter went for fishing, and I think Jesus is referring to that. Okay. Maybe. Yeah. So, okay. So do you love me more than these? Okay. So Jesus is trying to put a measurement. So if you love these things, like say 5 points, do you love me at least 6? That's what Jesus is asking. Yes, Lord, he said, you know that I love you. Jesus said, feed my lambs. Okay. Okay. So let's start drawing. As we draw, we will discuss. Okay. So Jesus is asking Simon Peter. I thought I'll draw these differently each time. Okay. So first time, let's use balance. Okay. And draw like how I said, does Peter love Jesus more or these things more? Okay. Something like that. Okay. So let's try that. Okay. So a weighing balance. Olden times people use, or the sabji wala uses, I think, still. So I'm drawing something like that. Okay. Okay. Something like this I'm drawing. Okay, one side, let it be down. Other side, a little bit up. So which side looks heavier, the left side or the right side?
Left side and two.
Left side. Okay, which is heavier will go down. Okay, when we hold the balance. This is the kind of balance people used for a long time. Now it's digital. A lot of people use digital. Okay, so I'm putting Jesus here. Okay. So Jesus asking Simon, do you love me more than these? Okay, so we're going to draw some fishes on the other side. Okay. So it's probably about catching fish. Okay, so let's draw some fish. Some different color fish if you can. Okay, one more. I'll put. Okay. So there's one interesting thing I want to tell you guys. When Jesus asked, the Greek word that is used is agape. Okay, so you know there are different words for love. So do you know what is agape? Agape love? Does anyone know what is agape love? The word agape. Okay. Did somebody say something?
No, uncle.
Okay. Agape means God's love. Okay, the love with which God loves, the love that God gives to us. That is agape. Okay. So when Jesus asks Peter, do you love me more than these? Okay. So Jesus is using the word God's love. No, do you love me like how I love you? And then Peter answers, okay, so let's draw Peter on the other side. That's the question Jesus is asking. So Peter, okay, all the 3 times we will draw Peter. A little bit like a penguin. Huh? Okay. So the first time probably Peter is not paying much attention. I don't know. So we can only guess why Jesus asked again and again. Okay, so most likely repetition is a sign of importance. So getting the attention of the other person. So he is trying to get Peter's attention. Okay, so Peter is saying, yes, yes, Lord. So I'm going to, we don't have a heart for people loving other people, right? So we used only red, right? So I'm just going to use pink. Pink, we've used it for faith, and I couldn't think of a different heart, so probably let's not introduce more hearts. I thought so. I'm just using pink. So Peter is saying, yes, I trust you. Yes, I love you. Yes, you know that I love you. Okay, so something like that. Peter is showing a smiley face. Yes. Okay. And then Jesus says again, feed my lambs. Okay, so that's probably is referring to people who need to be told, about God. So we need to tell people about God. There are people who are hungry, so people whose hearts are empty. Okay, so let's draw some people, 3 people. Let's go to do just the outline. Okay, something like that. kind of a crowd. Okay. So these people are waiting to hear about God, but somebody has to tell them. Okay. So they currently don't know God. So let's draw a black heart. So somebody has to go tell them and they will find God. Their hearts will turn into pink heart. So Jesus is saying, go feed my sheep. Okay. So go tell them. Okay. Tell them about God's love. So drawing. This is something that Jesus is telling. So not drawing Jesus. I'm drawing a comic box and drawing a red heart with it. Okay, so we need to tell them. So go tell them about God's love so that they will listen and turn to me. Okay, so that's what Jesus is saying. Okay, so the same question Jesus could ask us also. Okay, so Phil, do you love me more than these? These could be anything that I have, or even people for this, right? So you might say, yes, Lord. Yes, I do. This is also a little bit like how children respond to their parents, right? The first time. We call Avia. Yes, yes, mommy. Then we call the second time. And then she says, yes, mommy. So and third time and then fully awake. Okay, yes, I should pay attention. Something like that Jesus is doing. Okay, so let's do that. Hello, the question that Jesus asks, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Okay, so Jesus, if he's kind of asking us every day, and that's worship. What's worship? Worship is how much we love him more than these. Now the balance should tilt nicely. So we've shown only a little bit tilt that Peter loves Jesus a little bit. I mean, we don't know how much Peter loved, but I'm just drawing for the learning sake. So Jesus should go way down compared to other things, right? Okay, and Jesus is expecting Peter to say, yes, Lord, I love you like how you love me. Is that possible? Peter should have shown a red heart back to God. No, I'm not sure. Maybe that's not the case. That's why Jesus is asking again and again. Okay. So anyhow, that's a good start. He says, yes, Lord. He didn't say maybe, or he didn't say no. So he says, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Okay. And then Jesus says, feed my lambs. There are people waiting. So please go tell them about me. Okay, that's verse 1. Okay, verse 16. Again, Jesus said, Simon, son of John, do you love me? It's like, wake up, Simon, son of John. If kid is sleeping, you call him the first time, he'll say, I'm getting up. Call him the second time and say, and then it's like, oh, it's morning. I'm getting up. Like that. And Simon answered, he answered, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Jesus said, take care of my sheep. Okay, so this time we will use the pink heart, red heart kind of symbol. Okay, so Jesus, let's draw Jesus. Okay, so Jesus is asking Peter, do you love me with a red heart? Peter? Okay. Okay, so let's put a red heart and a question mark. Okay. Do you love me? Peter must be listening to our Bible study right now. Peter must be thinking, fellows, you are making fun of me. Do you love God? Maybe I loved Jesus better than you guys. Yeah, that's very much possible. So yeah, we learn from Peter, and let's try and love God like how Peter loved, and try and do better. Not for the sake of being better than Peter, but loving God. God is worthy of our love, right? So we should love God better. Okay, right. So Jesus is asking, do you have a pink heart? Peter is saying, I don't have a pink heart. Sorry, do you have a red heart? And Peter is saying, I don't have a red heart, but I can give you a pink heart. So he's using, oh, I didn't say about how Peter answered, right? So Peter is using the word phileo. Phileo means friendly love. Okay, so probably that's why Jesus is asking again and again. Jesus is using agape. Peter is saying phileo. Yes, Jesus, I love you, but with a pink heart, not with a red heart. So I'm going to just cross off the red heart, because Peter is not talking about that kind of love. Okay, so God, Jesus, I'm not going to love you with a red heart, at least for now, but I can give you pink heart. Okay. So that's how all of us start. So we start putting our trust in Jesus, and we slowly move to red heart. Okay. Okay, take care of my sheep, we will omit, because that's the same thing that Jesus is saying. Okay. So yeah, we can skip the coloring and go to the next verse. So the same kind of coloring would hold good here also. Okay, third time. The third time he said to him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter was what? Hurt. Okay, so did this happen to you? Say your mommy or daddy told you something 3 times and you were upset. Did that happen to you? Any of you? Yes. Okay. Yeah, it happened to me many times. Even when I'm kind of grown up also, my dad and mom tells me things repeatedly. I'm like, is it once, twice, third time? Same thing? So Jesus is saying the same thing to Peter. Okay, let's maybe discuss a little bit. Why is Jesus telling the third time? What do you think? I told you a few points, but yeah, I think, why do you think Jesus is saying this same thing 3 times. Do you love me?
Peter betrayed Jesus 3 times.
Oh, okay. Peter denied Jesus 3 times. I'm not sure if there is a direct correlation. Possible? That's possible. Okay. So Jesus wants to confirm, get a confession from him 3 times. Okay. Any other reason you can think of?
He thought like Peter was not sure about what he's saying.
Yeah, I'm kind of siding with that reason. So Peter is probably not fully awake. Peter is listening, answering, but we can answer from our lips without answering from our heart. We can say, yes, yes, I love you. Yes, I'll do. So from our heart, answer should come. That's what Jesus is expecting. So probably that. Okay. So we'll draw like that. Okay. So again, we don't know the exact reason, but we are just trying to guess from what we have. Okay. So we'll go and ask Peter, why did Jesus tell you 3 times, Peter? You were not listening or what? Go ask him. Yeah. Okay, so, oh, I wanted to draw this differently. Okay, so, okay, I'll draw Peter and Jesus is kind of asking, do you love me from within your heart, deep within your heart? Okay. So Jesus is asking, okay, I'll use blue. Is it there? Okay. Is love for me there? Okay. Do you love me from your heart? Okay. You know what? In the Greek, he's again saying, using the same word phileo. He's not using agape. Third time also. Jesus is saying, do you love me like how I love you? No, God. I love you like how I love other people. That's phileo. Phileo is friendship. So we tell each other. So Jesus didn't scold him or anything. So he just politely. But Peter is saying, no, I don't have a red heart. No, but he didn't say no. No. Jesus asked, do you have agape? Peter is saying, yes, Lord, I have phileo. It's like, somebody asking, do you have chicken eggs? Yes, I have duck eggs. Do you get the point? So, see, that's how Peter is answering. I'm not sure if that's exactly the case, but yeah, that's how I'm getting it. So Peter is hurt. Peter is a little bit hurt in his heart. Let's draw that also. But he says, I love you, but with a pink heart, not with a red heart. Okay.
We can draw the black rays orange.
For Jesus, because
Yes.
it's Jesus. Okay.
He's hurt by Jesus.
Okay. think we were using black for hurt or pressure. Okay.
Once
Yeah.
we used orange also.
Is it? Okay. Never mind. Okay. So Peter is hurt the third time. And he said, Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you with a pink heart, not with a red heart. You know that I love you. Jesus said, feed my sheep. Okay. Probably, I think, I believe it's like this, that Peter really started loving Jesus with a red heart after Jesus was taken away, you know, and maybe a year or two later, or some months later, Peter, I think, started loving Jesus like how Jesus loved him with a red heart. I think at this point he still has a pink heart only, I think. Even us, we might say that we love Jesus, but do we have a red heart? I don't know. So it takes time. We might say one thing, but we may not live that way. So yeah, it's all right, and if it's okay if we are making progress. If we are not making progress in the right direction, then there is a problem. Okay, so I think Peter is working on it. He still has a pink heart. So okay, let's maybe number that. This is the third time Jesus is saying this. So we can imagine that Jesus is also asking us the same question. It's interesting to know that he asked Peter and not John. John was his favorite disciple. Did Jesus had favorites? Was he partial? John calls himself as Jesus' favorite disciple. Okay. Right. Jesus was not partial, but he had some pet ones, close ones. Okay. So let's skip a few more verses. So after that, Jesus tells about how Peter will die. Peter asked, then what about John? Then Jesus didn't answer that question. He indirectly said, Peter, you think about yourself. Okay. Okay. After that, we are jumping to verse 24, the last two verses of John. This looks like it's written by somebody else and not John. Okay. So this is the disciple who testifies to these things. Some person who read all this, probably a group of disciples or second line disciples. So they read this and they are saying, this is the disciple who testifies to these things and who wrote them down. We know that this testimony is true. How do you know something is true? How do you get to know if that something is true? All right. In your class, somebody says that, say, for example, somebody stole something. Somebody stole a water bottle. So you know that it is true. How do you know? Or when will you know that it is true?
When someone tells us.
Will you know that person could tell lies?
When someone whom we trust tells us.
Someone whom we trust, still there could be a doubt, right? For sure, when would you know that it is true?
When we see it.
Yeah, when you see it. Okay. Eyewitnesses. When you see it, when you see it, you know for sure that it is true. Okay, so these are people who witnessed all this, who heard Jesus, who saw Jesus' miracles, and who wrote them down, you know, and so they are testifying that it is true. Okay, so John wrote it, and the other people saw what Jesus did, and they know that it is true. Okay, so we're gonna draw two people. One John, one side John is here. Okay, so he's writing these things down. Okay, I'm just going to draw a book here. We will draw a book for the next verse also. But okay, I'll keep a paper here and not a book. So he is writing down things. Okay. And there is a group of people on the other side. Again, we're going to draw only the outer part. Okay, maybe 3 people. So these people are all witnesses. They are able to see what Jesus did, and they know that what John has written down is true. Okay. So these people have watched Jesus, what Jesus did, and what Jesus preached. Okay, we'll draw Jesus in the center. Oops. And Jesus did many things. Okay, and these people were all witnesses. I'm just trying to draw 2 eyes. Okay, and John was also a witness. Okay, John is writing down. These people lived with Jesus. They know that it is true. Okay, eyewitnesses. So if you go to the court and say somebody did something bad, then they will need eyewitnesses, people who were there, people who saw things happen. They will be called and they have to tell the story. If they tell the story and everything fits together, there are enough reasons to believe, then they will believe, the court will believe. No, so like that. So these people saw, John wrote it down, and these people came and said, yes, 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 what John wrote, they're all true. Okay, so that's how they're saying. Okay, right. For some reason, John didn't use his name. We will go and ask him why. Okay, I'm not doing anything green here. Okay, so let's go to verse 25. Okay, 25. Jesus did many other things as well. If every one of them were written down, I suppose that even the whole world would not have room for the books that would be written. Yeah, so 3.5 years of action-packed life Jesus lived. Okay, so let's draw planet Earth and let's try and fill it with pages. And let's show that if everything was recorded, it would have been, oops, sorry. It would have taken the whole earth. Okay, this is kind of figuratively speaking, not literally. Of course, you're not going to spread the paper in the oceans or on the mountains. Just that it'll take up a lot of space. Wait, even now, people are still writing about Jesus, and there are endless books and notes about Jesus. People are still studying and exploring and discovering commentaries and magazines and notes. Okay, we are also doing color and draw. Okay, so yeah, there are multiple reasons why people study the life of Jesus. Some people use them as textbooks. Some people use them to find what is wrong in Jesus. And many people have started believing that Jesus is God after they discovered there is nothing wrong with Jesus. Okay. And some of us, we have understood that Jesus is God, and we study to know God more. Okay, question. So why everything is not recorded? No, so say for example, have you ever wondered why Jesus' childhood is not recorded for us? Yeah.
Maybe he didn't do much that time.
Okay. But still, why was it not recorded? Hmm? Okay, I'm just going to draw a big book. Okay, keep talking. What do you think? Why was Jesus' childhood like? You guys are 10, 12, 13 years old, and it'll be nice to read what Jesus did those times, what kind of games he played, what kind of conversations he had. Yeah. Why do you think those things were not recorded? Yeah, I don't have answers, so I'm also trying to guess. So I'm just asking if you have any ideas. Why do you think Jesus avoided writing about his childhood? Hmm? Yes, no, no idea.
I have no idea.
What, Joshua?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think I don't know why, but it would have been very interesting to see how Jesus lived his childhood days. But only some things are written for us, no? So not everything, no? So God has given us enough so that we find him, but not everything about him.
Or maybe if he gives more information, we may not be able to understand it.
We may not be able to understand. That's possible. Even with this much information, we are not able to understand. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says that. No, so even with little information, we are not able to. But Jesus thought that it is enough for us to have only this much. So he decided not to reveal everything to us. But I think he doesn't want us to be more proud or arrogant or kind of I know everything, I can handle, I know God kind of thing. So even Adam, with that limited knowledge, he thought, oh, I can decide for myself. So he went on and ate that fruit, and later the Tower of Babel. We see people wanted to become like God, and still that thing is there. So we still have that within us to kind of become like God, that desire in us. So maybe God gave only limited information for us to just know enough, but not everything. It's possible. I used to wonder how nice it'll be if God came during these times. So we would have recorded, videotaped, full HD, 4K, 8K video, 3D, and have him live stream on the internet, YouTube. We can watch every conversation. But Jesus chose to come before even audio was recorded, not even as audio was recorded. Yeah, these are some questions I have. So I'll go ask Jesus why. But he chose, but he is given enough. Romans 1:18 also we read that no one is without excuse. God has revealed himself enough, but not more. So yeah, we could have, John could have written a lot more, but he chose to write only some. And he thought that's enough for us to find God. So lack of information is never a reason not to find God. So people say, if this was given to me, if I know this, if I have this, if I have answer for this, I will trust God. That's never a reason. Okay, let me ask you this. Do you think people who say that if they get answer for whatever question they're asking, will they trust God?
No.
No. Why do you say no confidently?
Because like they are just telling an excuse to not trust God.
Yeah. People who have one excuse can always find another excuse. So I think that's a big reason why God gave us less information. So if once we start giving excuses, especially with God, there is no end to it. Yeah. Okay, we'll stop here. So any favorite parts in John? I thought I'll ask you this. We went through John. Any favorite passage or any favorite verse that you remember in John? Okay, I'll tell you mine. The first part of John was my favorite. the first few verses up to light entering darkness. We are into Christmas season. We are entering Christmas season. So light coming into darkness, and the darkness did not recognize the light. That part, I think about it often. So God comes into my dark heart and he wants to give light, and I might resist often, saying I don't want light. But yeah, when we allow the light to shine inside our heart, God can, reveal and help us see him. Yeah, that part was nice for me. Yeah. Any other verses you liked? Any parts you remember?
Thomas.
Thomas. Okay. Right.
I like the part
Faith
where
of Thomas.
Okay, faith of Thomas. Yeah.
I like the part when Mary found that the person who was speaking to her was Jesus.
Okay. Yeah. Mary is also such a wonderful character. Yeah. She went alone. Imagine somebody getting up early in the morning, going alone to a tomb. Okay. Mika, Joshua, do you have any points? Anything you want to say? Okay, let's pray and close. Thank God for the lessons from John. And yeah, next week we will do the science thing. That's the first week of December. Okay. Dear God, we thank you for the book of John. We learned many things today, especially you asked Peter 3 times. We found you used a different word for love, agape, and Peter replied back with phileo, friendly love. Maybe you expected him to grow up and love you more. Pray that, Jesus, if you ask us the same question, let's not answer from our lips. Pray that we will have it in our heart and truly answer. We thank you for these passages that are written down for us. We have enough to find you and to trust you, God. Pray that we will have greater faith, stronger faith in you, and we will truly worship you from our heart. Thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay. Thank you.